60 Celtic. It all kicked off in 1957. Russell's rookie year, and somehow he was already snatching almost 23 rebounds a night like it was no big deal. St. Louis dragged them into 7 games, but Russell and Heinsohn weren't interested in heartbreak. Heinsohn went for 37 in Game 7, while Russell casually collected 32 rebounds. Boston took that double overtime thriller in their first title, like they'd been doing this forever. By 1959, Boston basically broke the Lakers' spirit. They swept Minneapolis so fast, fans probably missed it if they blinked. Russell hit nearly 30 rebounds per game, and Cousy was serving up dimes like he was running a buffet. Boston's fast pace just overwhelmed Minneapolis, and it wasn't even close. In 1960, they ran it back against St. Louis, because apparently Boston liked torturing them. 7 games again, but this time Boston blew the doors off in the final matchup. Russell dragged down 35 rebounds in that one like it was just another Tuesday. The Celtics spread the scoring around so well, the Hawks didn't even know who to chase. 1961 felt like Boston finally decided to speed things up. St. Louis tried, they really did, but Boston's relentless pace and Russell's insane 29 rebounds per game buried them fast. 5 games, over and done. St. Louis couldn't keep up, no matter what they tried. Then in 1962, the Lakers showed up thinking they had a real chance. Elgin Baylor went wild with over 40 points a night, but Russell just went right back to his routine. 40 rebounds in Game 7? Of course, Boston survived a wild overtime in that final game, and Selvy's missed jumper handed them another trophy. 1963, same story. Boston just kept bullying the Lakers. Russell owned the boards, Sam Jones was filling it up, and Cousy kept feeding his teammates like it was a family dinner. 6 games later, Los Angeles was back to the drawing board. Next year, Boston faced Wilt and the Warriors. Chamberlain did Chamberlain things, but Boston made him work way harder than he liked. Russell made sure Wilt's shooting dropped under 39%, which for him is like being stuck in quicksand. Boston's balance just buried San Francisco in 5 games. In 1965, the Celtics lit up the scoreboard, averaging over 120 points a night. Russell kept inhaling rebound, and Sam Jones scorched the Lakers for almost 28 points per game. Boston crushed them in 5, like it was routine at this point. By 1966, the Lakers finally made things interesting. They pushed it all the way to 7 games, but Russell wasn't about to let that slide. He finished the decider with 25 points and 32 rebounds, while Havlicek sealed the deal at the free throw line. Another title, just to keep the shelves full. Then came 1968, with Russell pulling double duty as player and coach. The Lakers looked dangerous, but Boston's team play wore them down. Havlicek stepped up big, dropping over 27 points per game, while Russell kept grabbing every rebound in sight. 6 games, and Boston came out on top once again. Finally, 1969, Russell's last ride. Boston wasn't even supposed to be here as a 4th seed underdog, but they didn't care. Russell's scoring dropped, but his impact never faded. He shut down Wilt when it mattered most, and Boston gritted their way through 7 brutal games. Don Nelson hit that wild jumper late, and Boston stunned the Lakers one final time to cap off Russell's ridiculous 11-title career. So yeah, Boston fans love to brag about the 60s, and honestly, they kind of earned it. That era wasn't even fair. Russell owned the glass. The defense was suffocating, and every time it looked like they might slip, someone stepped up and kept the dynasty alive. 11 titles in 13 seasons? Good luck seeing anyone do that again. Lakers-Celtics era. The 80s were basically a Magic and Bird co-production, and nobody else really got to crash the party. Magic snagged 5 rings, Bird grabbed 3, and every single time they stepped into the finals, it felt like the main event. It all started in 1980. Magic was a rookie, and Kareem was unstoppable until he messed up his ankle before Game 6. So Magic, who was just 20 years old, stepped in at center like it was casual. He dropped 42 points, grabbed 15 boards, and handed out 7 assists. That closed out Philadelphia in 6 games. Kareem still averaged 33 for the series, but Magic's wild Game 6 made him Finals MVP. The Lakers ran the floor like maniacs, grabbed more rebounds, and just overwhelmed the Sixers with speed. Then came 1981, and Boston got their turn. Larry Bird led a balanced Celtics team that handled Houston in 6 games. Bird was everywhere, pulling down over 15 rebounds a night, while Cedric Maxwell led the scoring and grabbed Finals MVP. Moses Malone kept it tight with monster rebounding, but Boston's depth and defense wore the Rockets down. Game 5 was a blowout, with Boston crushing them by almost 30 points. Bird's all-around game and Boston's rebounding edge finished it off. In 1982, the Lakers were back. Magic picked up his 2nd Finals MVP by averaging over 10 rebounds and 8 assists per game, even throwing in a triple-double to close it out. Kareem gave them 18 points a night, and Jamal Wilkes quietly torched the Sixers for nearly 20 per game on insane efficiency. The Lakers' fast break was too much, and Philadelphia just could not keep up. Game 3 was a blowout, and Game 6 ended it, with Magic stuffing the box score yet again. Then 1984 hit, and this is where the rivalry truly exploded. Celtics and Lakers finally head-to-head in the finals. Bird came out swinging, averaging over 27 points and 14 rebounds across 7 games. Boston's physical play rattled the Lakers, especially with McHale's infamous clothesline in Game 4. Boston's rebounding edge was massive, and Bird's all-around dominance carried them. Cedric Maxwell stepped up in Game 7, giving Boston the edge they needed to outlast Magic's playmaking and Kareem's scoring. 1985 was the revenge tour. After years of frustration against Boston, the Lakers finally took them down in 6 games. Kareem, at nearly 40 years old, played like he turned back the clock, averaging over 25 points and winning Finals MVP. Magic was the conductor as usual, racking up 14 assists per game. Boston's aging legs just could not handle the Lakers' fast break and precision. Game 6 was the closeout, with the Lakers shooting over 54% and leaving Boston in the dust. In 1986, Boston came back with a vengeance. Bird was at his absolute peak, flirting with a triple-double average in the finals. Kevin McHale was a monster, scoring over 25 a game while shooting close to 60%. Houston's young frontcourt, with Olajuwon and Sampson, tried to keep up, but Boston's experience was just too much. Bird sealed it in Game 6 with 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 12 assists. Boston's depth and rebounding once again made the difference. Then it was back to the Lakers in 1987, showtime at full blast. Magic owned the series, averaging over 26 points, 13 assists, and 8 rebounds. His famous skyhook in Game 4 snatched victory right out of Boston's hand. Worthy was ridiculous too, scoring over 23 points per game on nearly 60% shooting. Boston's injuries piled up, and even though Bird fought with 24 points and 10 boards a night, they could not match the Lakers' speed. Game 6 in Los Angeles was the final blow, with Magic throwing 19 assists and closing the series. Finally, in 1988, the Lakers pushed through Detroit in a brutal 7-game slugfest. Magic, battling a bad hamstring, still managed 13 assists a game, but this was Worthy's moment. In Game 7, he unleashed 36 points, grabbed 16 rebounds, and dished 10 assists for the triple-double and the Finals MVP. Detroit's physicality made every game a fight, but the Lakers' experience and clutch play got them through. Worthy's Game 7 sealed it, and the Lakers repeated as champs, the first team to do it since the 60s. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to start posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, 90s Bulls. When you talk about dominance, the Chicago Bulls made the 90s their personal playground. Michael Jordan ran the league like he owned it, and 6 championships later, it felt like nobody else even had a shot. It all started in 1991. The Bulls faced the Lakers, and Jordan just exploded. He averaged over 31 points, nearly 7 rebounds, and more than 11 assists per game, while shooting nearly 56% from the floor. His switch hands layup in Game 2 basically told the Lakers they were in trouble. Scottie Pippen's defense was a nightmare for Magic Johnson, holding him under 19 points per game and forcing over 4 turnovers a night. Game 5 was the closer, with Jordan dropping a 30-point triple-double and John Paxson hitting every single shot in the fourth quarter to seal it. Then it rolled into 1992. Portland's top 3 defense barely made a dent against Chicago's offense. Jordan's shrug game in Game 1 said it all. 35 points in the first half, drilling 6 threes like he was bored. He averaged nearly 36 points a game for the series. Pippen was everywhere, putting up 21 points, 8 rebounds, and almost 8 assists per game. In the clincher, Chicago's bench outscored Portland's reserves by more than 20 points, and the Bulls wrapped it in 6. 1993 came with Phoenix and MVP Charles Barkley, but it didn't matter. Jordan was on a completely different planet, averaging 41 points per game, a finals record that still stands. Game 4 was ridiculous, with Jordan dropping 55. Barkley tried to match him with 27 points and 13 boards a night, but Phoenix's bench got crushed. Game 6 ended with Jordan drawing the defense and kicking it to Paxson for the dagger 3. Another ring, another summer. After a quick detour from basketball, Jordan returned for 1996, and the Bulls wasted no time. Seattle had the #1 defense in the league, but Chicago still worked them over. Jordan, despite dealing with Gary Payton's pressure, put up over 27 points per game. Dennis Rodman owned the glass, pulling in almost 15 rebounds per game and neutralizing Shawn Kemp's impact. In Game 6, Pippen stuffed the stat sheet with 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 steals. while Steve Kerr came off the bench to hit clutch shots in the fourth and close it out. 1997 brought Utah and the Malone-Stockton duo, but Chicago kept the momentum. Jordan averaged over 32 points, and Game 5 gave us the legendary flu game. Sick as a dog, he still dropped 38 points, 7 boards, and 5 assists to steal the game on the road. In Game 6, with the defense focused on Jordan, he found Kerr wide open for the game winner. Bulls took the series in 6, and Jordan grabbed yet another Finals MVP. 1998 was the last dance, and it finished the story perfect. Utah came back for revenge, but the Bulls were not interested in sharing. Jordan averaged over 33 points, and Game 6 became his masterpiece. He scored 45 points, picked Karl Malone's pocket in the final moments, and buried the game winner over Brian Russell. Pippen played through brutal back pain, but still gutted it out on both ends. Chicago's defense held Utah to just 43% shooting, locking down their second straight finals win over the Jazz. By the time the dust settled, the Bulls went 24-6 in the finals across the 90s. Jordan's averages over that run were ridiculous: over 33 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists per game, while shooting 48% from the field. Chicago's net ratings in those title years were insane, always at least +7, and sometimes climbing over +13. No matter who stepped up against them, it never really mattered. The Bulls closed every series with cold precision, never even needing a Game 7 in any of those 6 finals. They just showed up, dominated, and left with the trophy every single time. Lakers three-peat. The early 2000s belonged to the Lakers, and nobody else really stood a chance. Shaq and Kobe Bryant ran through the league like they were on autopilot, stacking 3 straight titles without even blinking. It started in 2000. The Lakers squared up with Indiana, and Shaq went full monster mode. He averaged 38 points and almost 17 rebounds per game, shooting over 61% from the field. Game 1 set the tone, with Shaq dropping 43 points and 19 boards like it was light work. Game 2, he casually followed that with 40 points and 24 rebounds. Even with Indiana's defense ranked top 4 in the league, they had no answers. Kobe, still growing into his role, averaged nearly 16 points, and while his shooting wasn't great, he showed up when it mattered. In Game 4, after Shaq fouled out, Kobe took over, scoring 28 and owning overtime. Game 6 closed it out. Shaq slammed 41 points with 12 rebounds, and Kobe backed him up with 26 points and 10 boards. First title in the bag. Then it got even nastier in 2001. The Lakers tore through the playoffs with a 15-1 record, one of the best runs in history. Philly managed to steal Game 1, but after that, Los Angeles buried them. Shaq was ridiculous, averaging 33 points and nearly 16 rebounds, while tossing in almost 5 assists and 3.5 blocks per game. He shot nearly 57% from the field and over 63% true shooting. Game 2, he came 1 block shy of a quadruple-double with 28 points, 20 rebounds, 9 assists, and 8 blocks. Kobe leveled up too, averaging nearly 25 points, almost 8 boards, and close to 6 assists a game. His numbers across the playoffs were even crazier, especially that 48-point explosion against Sacramento. In the clincher, Game 5, Shaq threw in 29 points and 13 rebounds, while Kobe added 26 points, 12 boards, and 6 dimes. Just like that, the Lakers were back-to-back champ. By 2002, they were basically in cruise control. The finals against New Jersey felt like a victory lap. Los Angeles swept the Nets without breaking a sweat, averaging 106 points per game on over 50% shooting. Shaq stayed in destroyer mode, averaging over 36 points, 12 rebounds, and almost 4 assists. Game 1, he opened with 36 points and 16 rebounds. Game 3, same story, 35 points, 11 boards, total control. Kobe, he was right there, averaging nearly 27 points while shooting over 51% from the field and over 62% true shooting. Game 3 was peak Kobe, as he dropped 36 points with 6 rebounds and 4 assists, hitting 14 of 23 shots. By Game 4, the Lakers were ready to shut the door. Shaq went for 34 points and 10 rebounds. Kobe added 25 points and 8 assists, and the sweep was complete. 3 straight titles. No argument left. Across those 3 runs, the Lakers went 45-13 in the playoffs, winning over 77% of their games. Shaq's numbers were out of control, almost 36 points, 15 rebounds, and nearly 3 blocks per game, while shooting almost 60% from the floor. Nobody could match that physical dominance. Kobe's progression across the 3 years was obvious. In 2000, he played more of a secondary role, scoring around 16 points a night. By 2002, he was a full co-star, nearly 27 points per game, and thriving in the biggest moments. The Lakers' net ratings in those 3 finals runs tell the story too. +7 in 2000, +12 in 2001, and plus almost 10 in 2002. They kept opponents completely overwhelmed, combining Shaq's brute force with Kobe's all-around scoring and playmaking. No series even reached a Game 7. No matter who stepped in front of them, whether it was Indiana, Philly, or New Jersey, the Lakers steamrolled their way through every round. Shaq hammered the paint, Kobe sliced up defenses, and their role players filled the gaps. It was total control from start to finish, and by the time they lifted that third straight trophy, the dynasty was untouchable. Spurs. San Antonio turned consistency into a weapon, collecting 5 titles across 15 years without ever flashing too much, but always finishing the job. They started the run in 1999, grinding the life out of the Knicks. Duncan went to work early, averaging over 27 points and 14 boards, hitting over 53% of his shots. He punished New York's front line so badly, it barely felt like a contest. Game 1, 33 points and 16 rebounds. Game 2, 25 points and 15 rebounds. Knicks had no answers inside. San Antonio out-rebounded them by nearly 8 a game, and their defense held New York under 80 points 4 times. Even with Sproul's big 35 in Game 5, the Spurs shut the door, with Avery Johnson hitting the go-ahead jumper to seal their first ever title. Fast forward to 2003, and Duncan still ran the show. He averaged over 24 points, a ridiculous 17 rebounds, and more than 5 blocks. In Game 1, he dropped 32 points, grabbed 20 boards, dished 6 assists, and blocked 7 shots. It was a full-on takeover. The Nets tried to push back behind Jason Kidd, but they just could not score enough. The Spurs defense smothered them, holding New Jersey to 40.8% shooting. By Game 6, Duncan came 1 block short of a quadruple-double, finishing with 21 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists, and 8 blocks. The Spurs took the series in 6 and grabbed their second ring behind Duncan's total dominance. 2005 brought a slugfest. Spurs and Pistons played a series where every possession felt like it might take the air out of the building. Duncan averaged over 20 points and 14 rebounds, but Detroit's defense forced him to shoot under 42%, the lowest of his finals career. Games 3 and 4 saw the Spurs get absolutely hammered, losing by 17 and then 31. But Robert Horry saved the day in Game 5, drilling the overtime game winner and finishing with 21 points. Game 7 was all grit. Duncan led with 25 points and 11 rebounds, while the Spurs defense strangled the Pistons, holding them to just 31 makes on 81 attempts. San Antonio edged it out, winning 81-74 and snagged their 3rd championship. 2 years later, in 2007, it was a sweep. LeBron James and the Cavaliers were way too young for this stage, and the Spurs took full advantage. Tony Parker owned the series, winning Finals MVP while shooting almost 57% from the field and averaging over 24 points. Bowen's defense on James was brutal, limiting him to just 35% shooting. Game 3 was ugly, ending 75-72, with San Antonio holding Cleveland to just 20 points in the first half. Parker stayed consistent, dropping 24 in the clincher, and Manu chipped in with 27. Spurs walked away with their 4th title and made it look easy. 2014 felt like the final masterpiece. After blowing it in 2013, San Antonio came back with a vengeance. Kawhi Leonard exploded, taking Finals MVP with almost 18 points a game on over 61% shooting. Game 3 was a demolition job, with the Spurs shooting over 71% in the first half, the best in Finals history. They moved the ball so well, averaging more than 25 assists a game, and shot an absurd 46.8% from 3 across the series. Miami's defense just collapsed under the weight of San Antonio's precision. Even though LeBron shot over 57% and averaged more than 28 points, the Heat could not keep up. In the clincher, Leonard poured in 22 points on just 10 shots, and the Spurs won by 17 to finish it off. Through it all, the Spurs left no doubt. Across 5 Finals wins, they built leads with defense, depth, and just enough star power. Duncan averaged over 20 points and more than 13 rebounds across his title runs. Parker transformed from young point guard to Finals MVP. And Manu kept defenses scrambling. Whether it was grinding New York, outlasting Detroit, suffocating Cleveland, or dismantling Miami, San Antonio always found the formula. Clean basketball, relentless execution, and a refusal to beat themselves. 5 titles, and they did it their way, every single time. Miami's Big 3. When LeBron James, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh teamed up in 2010, they didn't just want a title, they promised not 1, not 2, you know the rest. In 4 seasons, they made 4 finals, won 2, and fell short twice. No NBA soap opera had better ratings. First year, 2011, they tripped. The Mavericks ran them over with spacing, shot making, and Dirk Nowitzki's revenge tour. LeBron averaged a grim 17 points, his lowest of the playoffs, while Dallas torched Miami for nearly 38% from deep. Jason Terry and JJ shredded Miami's bench, and the Heat's half-court offense evaporated in crunch time. Miami blew a 15-point lead in Game 2, got cooked in Game 5 when Dallas buried 17 threes, and crumbled in Game 6. Series loss, 4-2. Humbling. Next year, lesson learned. 2012, the Heat locked in. They met a young Oklahoma City squad with Durant, Westbrook, and Harden, and broke them down like veterans should. LeBron finally arrived on the biggest stage. 28 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists per night, plus 52% in clutch moments. He powered a Heat offense that shot nearly 40% from three and controlled the paint by a 22-point advantage across the series. Game 1 went to the Thunder, but Miami adjusted fast. Game 2, LeBron dropped 32, Wade added 24, and Miami stole home court. Game 3, same story. James went for 29 and 14, Wade scored 25, and they squeezed Oklahoma City's offense into 21 turnovers. Game 4, the dagger. Down by 17 early, Miami clawed back behind LeBron's near triple-double and Mario Chalmers catching fire for 25 points. By Game 5, it was a party. The Heat hit 17 threes. Mike Miller lost his mind with 7 triples, and LeBron closed it with 26 points, 13 dimes, and 11 boards. First title for the Big Three, statement made. 2013 brought the sequel, and it nearly ended early. San Antonio pushed them to the brink, but Miami stars delivered. LeBron averaged 25 points, nearly 11 boards, and 7 assists, shooting 45%, while dragging Miami through 7 brutal games. Game 1, Tony Parker's miracle jumper stunned the Heat. Game 2, Miami flipped the switch with a third-quarter avalanche, forcing the Spurs into 14 turnovers. Game 3, disaster. Spurs hit 16 threes, blew Miami out by 36, and Danny Green started auditioning for Finals MVP. But Game 4, Wade finally showed up. 32 points, 6 steals, and vintage energy. LeBron poured in 33, Bosh added 20, and Miami leveled the series. Game 5 slipped away, but Game 6 became the classic. Down 5 with 20 seconds left, Ray Allen drilled the biggest three of his life to tie it, saving Miami's season. LeBron's 32 points and triple-double pushed the Heat into overtime, where they survived. Game 7, no drama. LeBron sealed the deal with 37 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 threes, closing out the Spurs and locking up back-to-back title. 2014, though, the run hit a wall. San Antonio came back with a vengeance, moved the ball like a clinic, and dismantled Miami in 5 games. LeBron was brilliant, 28 points per game on 57% shooting, but the help evaporated. Wade's legs were gone, Bosh was out-muscled, and the Spurs shot nearly 53% from the floor, ending Miami's dynasty with surgical precision. Kawhi Leonard took Finals MVP, and the Big Three era closed with a thud. Still, the Heat's run stamped its place in history. Across 4 straight finals, Miami posted an overall finals record of 11 wins and 13 losses, but in their 2 championship runs, they were a freight train, outscoring opponents by nearly 9 points per game in 2012, shooting over 40% from deep in 2013, and getting superstar performances from LeBron that averaged nearly 30 points a night in the wins. LeBron ascended. Wade battled age and injuries, but gave Miami crucial bursts of greatness, especially in the 13 title. Bosh quietly stretched the floor, played elite defense, and sacrificed touches to balance the roster. From crushed hopes in 2011 to total redemption in 2013, the Big Three did exactly what they came together to do: win twice. Warriors-Cavs. For 4 straight years, these 2 teams dragged the whole league into their mess, and every finals felt like the season's only destination. Golden State kept rolling out their high-powered offense, while Cleveland kept betting everything on LeBron's brilliance. Golden State's system was chaos in motion, cutting, screening, and firing threes like they were allergic to normal basketball. They spaced the floor to extremes and dared you to keep up. Once they tightened the screws, they made scoring feel impossible. Cleveland, though, was pure survival mode. They lived and died by LeBron carrying them through every battle. Every possession felt like an emergency, and they just kept handing him the keys. In 2015, Golden State blazed through the season like they were unstoppable. Cleveland hobbled into the finals without Kyrie or Love, duct taping their lineup together. The Warriors swarmed them with nonstop energy, and even though LeBron did everything, it was not enough. Iggy snatched Finals MVP for barely barely slowing him down, while Cleveland threw Dele at Curry like a Hail Mary. The next year, the Warriors stormed in with 73 wins, convinced history was on their side. Cleveland, down 3-1, still believed they had a shot. And they were right. LeBron and Kyrie exploded, smashing through Golden State's defense like it was paper thin. Draymond's suspension cracked the door open, and Cleveland barged right through it. That comeback flipped the entire script, leaving the Warriors stunned. By 2017, Golden State doubled down by adding Durant, turning their super team into an unfair cheat code. Cleveland tried to hold their ground, but the gap was massive. LeBron kept posting monster numbers, but the Cavaliers' defense crumbled. The Warriors' firepower was overwhelming, and Durant's dominance left Cleveland gasping. The series ended in 5, and the Cavaliers hung on to their lone win like gold. Then came 2018, and Golden State basically walked into another championship. Cleveland, without Kyrie, was just the LeBron solo act. The Warriors blitzed them from everywhere. Durant and Curry trading haymakers. Cleveland could not keep up, no matter how much LeBron pushed. Durant secured another Finals MVP, and the sweep felt inevitable from the opening tip. Through it all, Golden State's machine shredded Cleveland again and again. The Warriors' ball movement and endless shooting barrage exposed every weakness in the Cavaliers' defense. Cleveland's supporting cast melted under pressure, while Golden State's depth kept shining. Every time Cleveland adjusted, the Warriors had another answer waiting. This saga became the league's main event, with no room for anyone else. Golden State turned the finals into their personal playground, while Cleveland fought desperately to keep pace. Even when the Warriors dominated, Cleveland clung to the what-ifs, like life rafts, hoping for miracles that never came. In the end, Golden State's brilliance and overwhelming firepower buried Cleveland's hopes. Cleveland battled with heart and belief, but they were outgunned at every turn. The Warriors conquered it all, while the Cavaliers chased a dream that always slipped away: parity. This stretch of basketball basically turned the league into a free-for-all. 6 different champions in 6 years, and the finals matchups felt like random lottery draws. No dynasties, no guarantees, just chaos every season. Every time the league looked set for another repeat showdown, the script flipped upside down. It kicked off in 2019 when the Raptors, of all teams, crashed the finals party. Toronto went up against the battered Warriors, and while Kawhi Leonard was a machine, Golden State collapsed like a dollar store lawn chair. Durant's Achilles gave out, Thompson's knee followed, and suddenly it was Raptors versus survival mode. Toronto's pressure turned every possession into panic. Time for the Warriors, and they closed it out. Then 2020 hit, and the season turned into the bubble experiment. The Lakers faced the Heat, but injuries had Miami limping into the series. Even with Jimmy Butler throwing haymakers every night, LeBron James and Anthony Davis bulldozed their way to the trophy. Miami clawed to make it respectable, but the Lakers were just too much. In 2021, things got even wilder. Milwaukee met Phoenix in the finals, and both sides were desperate to end their droughts. The Suns started hot, grabbing an early series lead, but Giannis flipped the switch. The Bucks steamrolled through the final games, leaving Phoenix gasping for air as Milwaukee closed the deal. By 2022, the Warriors came crawling back, meeting Boston in a series that felt like a clash of eras. Boston's defense looked fierce, but their offense wilted when it mattered most. Curry set the whole thing on fire, and the Warriors flexed their championship muscle to grab another ring. In 2023, the Nuggets finally broke through, lining up against the Heat in a matchup nobody predicted. Denver overwhelmed Miami from the jump, and Nikola Jokic's brilliance tore the series wide open. Miami's scrappy run ended with Denver dancing on the big stage as the Nuggets owned every inch of the court. Finally, 2024 delivered Celtics versus Mavericks, a battle of 2 hungry teams. Boston's physicality shut down Dallas early, and they never looked back. Tatum and Brown powered through the finals, smothering the Mavericks' hopes and locking in Boston's 18th championship. So across 6 seasons, this parity era delivered unpredictable finals every single year. One season, it's Toronto, stealing the spotlight. Next, it's Denver, making their dream run. No matchup felt safe, no finals felt scripted, and every year the league reset like clockwork, leaving the door wide open for anyone to grab the crown. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.